faith that endures is faith that creates. It is the quiet strength that carries you through uncertainty, knowing that the end is already secure. One of the greatest misconceptions about faith is the idea that it is passive. Faith is deeply active. It engages your imagination, your feelings, and your actions. To have faith is to see with the inner eye what is not yet visible to the outer. It is to feel the reality of your desire so completely that you cannot help but act as though it is already true. This is not pretense or delusion, it is the most profound act of creation. By living from the end, you call forth the conditions necessary for your desire to manifest. Faith is also inseparable from the power of assumption. To assume the reality of your desire is to claim it as already yours. This assumption is not based on wishful thinking, but on the recognition that creation begins within. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you activate the divine laws of manifestation. You begin to align your thoughts, words, and actions with the state of already having, and in doing so, you bring that state into being. This is the creative process in its purest form, and it is powered by faith. Many people struggle with faith because they confuse it with hope or longing. Hope is a beautiful sentiment, but it is not the same as faith. Hope looks to the future, faith lives in the present. Faith does not say, "One day it will be mine." It declares, "It is mine now." This present tense affirmation is what sets faith apart and gives it its creative power. Faith does not wait for conditions to improve, it improves conditions by transforming your inner state. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to conform. The practice of faith requires discipline and dedication. It asks you to focus your thoughts and feelings on the desired outcome, rather than the current reality. This is not always easy, especially when the world around you seems to contradict your desires. But this is where faith proves its strength. It is in these moments of contradiction that your faith is refined, strengthened, and purified. The more you persist in believing in the unseen, the more you train your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you fear. Faith is intimately connected to your imagination, for it is through imagination that you create the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The mind is the workshop of creation, and imagination is the tool that shapes your reality. When you imagine your desire as already real, you begin to feel the emotions associated with it: joy, gratitude, peace. These feelings are the language of the soul, the signal to the divine that you are ready to receive. By maintaining this feeling, you align yourself with the frequency of your desire, allowing it to flow effortlessly into your experience. The role of faith is not to force or control, but to allow. Faith does not strive, it trusts. It does not question how or when. It knows that all things are unfolding perfectly. This trust is what gives faith its power. It releases the need to manipulate the outer world and focuses instead on cultivating the inner state. When you let go of the how and the when, you free yourself to fully embrace the now. And it is in the now that creation occurs. Faith, at its core, is an act of surrender. It is the willingness to let go of doubt, fear, and resistance, and to rest in the assurance that what you desire is already done. This surrender is not a weakness, but a profound strength, for it allows you to tap into the infinite power of the divine. When you surrender to faith, you open the door for miracles to enter your life, for you align yourself with the limitless potential of God. Faith is not something you acquire, it is something you cultivate. It is a choice you make moment by moment, a decision to trust the unseen over the seen, the eternal over the temporary. Every time you choose faith over doubt, you strengthen your connection to the divine and move closer to the fulfillment of your desires. This is the path of creation, the journey of becoming, and it begins with the simple yet profound act of believing. When you look at the world around you, the greatest miracles often unfold in silence. The seeds that sprout into mighty trees do so beneath the soil, unseen and unheard. The sun rises without a sound, illuminating the world with quiet majesty. In much the same way, God works in silence, orchestrating the intricate details of your life with precision and love, even when you cannot see it or feel it. The silence of God is not a void or an absence, it is a profound stillness filled with intention and purpose. In moments when you feel that nothing is happening, know that everything is happening. Now, the forces that align your circumstances, the whispers of divine guidance, and the shaping of your destiny all occur in this sacred quiet. This silence is where God weaves the unseen threads of your desires into the tapestry of your life. Impatience often leads us to believe that silence is a sign of neglect or indifference, but nothing could be further from the truth. Silence is the space where faith is tested and strengthened. It is in these silent intervals that you are called to trust not in what you can see, but in the unseen. Trust that God's timing is perfect, and trust that even when you cannot perceive progress, divine forces are working tirelessly on your behalf.